Here's my next project I want to start working on. It's an old Farnsworth console radio. They were made in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's where I picked this up actually when I was passing through. It's a little rough on the top. It's got Miller droppings all over it. It's full of spider webs and cobwebs. It came out of an old shed. Got the built-in antenna. It says Farnsworth on it. The speaker looks good. Oh, it's full of cobwebs and stuff. I need to blow this out before I take it in the shop. It's missing a couple tubes, it looks like. One there, one there. Not sure what all these wires are sticking out down here, but that's not a good sign. So maybe somebody's been in this. The cord looks pretty old, if not original. What model is this? Oh, look at this. Gear Audio, East Colorado Avenue, and a phone. It's a model AC70. I'll have to look that up to see what year this is. It's got some gouges in it. The cabinet's going to need a good going through for sure. Material doesn't look too bad. The dial looks pretty good, but somebody did do a lot of scratching in through here on this. And that's deep, so that's going to take some polishing to try to get that out. The original wooden knobs. The decals are still on there. They look good. I'll try to keep from damaging those. An old Farnsworth. Yeah, it looks like this sticker's all coming loose here. I'll have to glue that back down. I'm going to see if I can get this label glued back down on here before it gets damaged. I don't know what to use. I don't want to damage it. You can't use super glue because this is kind of just paper. So I think I'm going to use some rubber cement across here, put it down, and then clamp some aluminum strips or put some aluminum over top of it with a weight on it or something. See if I can get it to stick that way. All the writing here feels like it's underneath a clear plastic shield, so I'll go light buffing over that anyway, because it's really got a lot of gouges in it. I'm going to keep polishing up this face plate. Philo Farnsworth was the guy who started the Farnsworth radio. Actually, it was Farnsworth Television and Radio Corporation, and they were based out of Fort Wayne. He actually had a lab there called The Cave off of Pontiac Street. It was a downstairs basement. That's when he was bought out by ITT in 1951. And he was basically the inventor of the vacuum picture tube. Him and another guy. But that was his idea, to go electronic on the picture tube instead of a mechanical scanning, which they had up to then by rotating discs. He came up with that when he was 14 years old, that idea. And by the time he turned 21, he had the first working model he was able to demonstrate. So he started pretty young. He was born in Utah, 1906. Died in 1971. Like I said, he came up with the concept of the electronic scanning picture tube and camera, which was basically the basis for all the picture tube TVs that we had, the fully electronic. Before that, it was a mechanical spinning disc with holes in it, which basically would pixelize the image. Now it's all electronic pixels due to CCD cameras and such. He actually got the idea for scanning the image. He was a farm boy, and he got the idea of scanning from the plow lines in the field, scanning an image from one side to another, and that created the pixels. Some of this paint chipped off when I popped this plastic off. You can see it's down inside here. It's kind of a brown paint. So I'm going to get a little brown paint and put in there and touch those areas up. Otherwise, I think you're going to be able to see it. So let's just do a little touch-up paint. That looks pretty good now. I think I'll be happy with that. This area is bad right in here. I'm not quite sure what happened there. It looks like it kind of got melted or really scratched or something, but well, we'll see about getting this glued back in there. I've got it polished out about the best I'm going to be able to do. And we'll get it mounted back up underneath there and take a look at the chassis. Okay, here's the Farnsworth radio chassis. It's awful dusty. I'm missing a couple tubes. One of these I think I took out, which was a 5Y3. I do have the schematic. There is a 5Y3 rectifier, and there's no other 5Y3 in there, so that's where it's got to go. This is really a small tube. What is this? a 6H6. Boy, is that thing stubby. I think what we'll do, 6H6. That's a detector. Should have a 6SQ7. Let me see what this is. 6SK7. So I've got the 6SK, the 6H6. I know the 5Y3 because I borrowed that for another radio. Went in here. SA7. That's right here. SK7. That's this one. So the one we're missing, let's see what this is. 6J5GT. We have that one. So it looks like we're missing one that goes here and the one that goes here. So I'm testing the rest of the tubes here for this radio. These are both 6SK7s. Okay. That's a good tube. And that's a good tube. So those two are good. SA7. Yep, that part's good. This looks like a good tube as well. There's only one more left to check. That is a 6J5GT. There we go. Okay, all tubes are good, so we'll check the electrolytic caps in that radio and see if it's safe enough to fire up. We'll check it with this device. Positive is going way over to here. I don't know if it had insulation on it at one time or not, but it certainly doesn't now. See what it shows. .24 microfarad ESR. Its voltage loss is 30%. So yeah, that's pretty high. So that is the 25 mic cap. And this one over here we do know is the 15. Come on there. So let's see what this one measures for voltage drop. Okay, so that's 4.9 microfarad and 29% voltage loss. So that's a lot, 30% voltage drop on each one of those. They basically turned into resistors. So I need to replace these caps before we even think of firing it up. And then we'll make sure it works, then we'll go in and see about changing out the rest of these wax caps that go defective with age. Now that the electrolytics are in there, I think we can go ahead and apply power to the case, bring it up on dim bulb in the variac, hook an external antenna up to it, and see if we pick anything up. Okay, we're going to power this up. I have first 110 plugged into this variac, which allows me to bring the power up slowly to 120 volts instead of just turning the switch on. Then I have it run over to a power strip, which this isolation transformer is plugged into, which this is plugged into. What this is a dim bulb When I turn this switch on, it'll apply whatever power I have coming out of here through the isolation transformer into here. So I can bring the voltage up to 50 and this will stay off and allow 50 volts there. But if there's a short in the radio or something, this bulb will take the voltage instead of shorting something else out in there. So that's just a safety precaution for the radio. So let's give it a try and see what we get. About 35 volts. This is on. You can see lights are starting to come on at 35 volts. No light in there, which is good. I'm about 50 volts there. It's not really drawing any power. I'm starting to hear something come in about 80 volts. Crank it up a little higher. Now we're about 110 volts. Well, you can see the light starting to light. That's indicating there's a problem. It's taking the load. I don't see, well yeah, this voltage, this filament is lit. This one is a little warm. Yeah, so at least the transformer's putting that voltage up. Nothing there. Yeah, we got something strange going on here. It could be a capacitor issue, but it's drawn a little power there that it shouldn't be, I think. So we'll continue on with the recapping process. So here's the chassis. I wanted to get it cleaned up a little. I wiped the rest of this down already, but get a little alcohol on some of this. Clean up this condenser. Boy, that was dirty. Yeah, there. That looks pretty good. Now, I need to just take this off of here. So I changed these two electrolytic caps out. I actually left them in there and just tacked these in around them. I cut the legs off and put these in their place so that physically they're still there. I had all these wires sticking out the back and they're all busted and the insulation's broke, and they were soldered to different points here, so I just clipped them off. The black was here, green, dark green, and a blue. They all belong to the antenna. They all belong to this built antenna. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 leads that go up into that connect down to this switch area in through here and over to the switch way over in here. There aren't that many capacitors in here as far as these old wax capacitors, so I think I'll go ahead and just shotgun those out and let's see if that helps us, because I bet there's a few of those that are probably totally bad. It's interesting, they're all labeled Farnsworth. Didn't know Farnsworth made their own capacitors. And we'll see about taking all these out. I need to spray some contact cleaner in these contacts because I can see they're really dirty. That might help. It might help with the radio signal a little bit. Get those cleaned up. And I should put some on these. But it looks like there's some underneath here too. That's going to be a little trickier. Yep, there sure is contacts up under there. Well, we'll see if we can spray them out a little bit here. That might have helped, and what we should do is give these potentiometers a little shot here too. This is the volume control. This is tone. It says to one side bass, to the center music, to the other side speech. This is the band select between broadcast, police, and shortwave.